Welcome back to another Music Maker guitar thing. It's 3:35 Thursday, so I'm here with my wonderful 335 that my Uncle Rick left me. This was always his go-to guitar, and I'm just really proud and honored that he gifted this to me. So I try to give it a little bit of love every day. It's kind of my little sidekick now. When I'm not playing one of my other guitars or something, I always kind of try to bust this out, either at the beginning of the day, the end of the day, or if it's the right guitar and the right sound for the gig, then it comes out. But a lot of the time, I'll use like my Strat with the Lindy Fralins here is really trusty all around, and it's really sturdy. And I actually just kind of built this, so this is like more my like road guitar. And then this is the one that, like, you know, she's just kind of my baby. She comes out a lot, but she doesn't come out like on the road because I really don't want anything to happen to this guitar. So that said, you know, she's my baby here. I wanted to kind of talk today, do today's little thing about like finding your lane inside of a groove and like finding ideas. And just keeping things really organic. I find a lot of my best music comes out just in the moment when I'm improvising. And I think it has like something to do. I read an article. I'll see if I can find it and link it in the description. But there's something that happens like almost kind of like you get drunk on the music. Like you when you improvise, you kind of lower some of your inhibitions. So like some of the best things that I write came from things that like I improvised, and then just thankfully the recording device was on, so it got caught and captured, and then I can listen back and try and recreate that so that it becomes like something that is a regular thing. But I think that's how a lot of us guitar players work, is like we might not be the greatest writers, but we know about music and scales and theory, and so we'll sit and we'll play and try to create kind of a vibe, because every like scale, like everything that you do, I was doing kind of like melodic minor mixed with Dorian kind of stuff in that, but like really like that's not important. The important thing is like I just love the sound that happens there. Like, so for me on this one, as I was vibing this out, this is just kind of an example. You can do this with anything, but like the characteristic sounds for me in a Dorian mode are like say it's A Dorian, like we were doing A minor, and then like with a 6 in it, right? So that's kind of like the characteristic, the secret Santana chord progression, if you will, right? But then I also like, I don't know what it was, but I was just really feeling like this major 7 in there too. It's like really dark, a little bit maybe more sinister. So that's like melodic minor as opposed to Dorian. It's got like a raised 7th. I just thought it would be cool because we have like scales with blue notes anyways, so like it's kind of just like a blue note in there, if you want to think of it that way. So that's kind of where this whole thing came from. So it's like that's kind of like my bass riff on that, and it just kind of came from, again, like I love the harmony of that scale, and so like all of that comes from it, even like the bass line. That's just like 1 and 5, right? And then these are all just melodic notes that I liked that harmonized that. So that's all that like bass line loop is. And then let me play it again so I can hear it. So there's like that's maybe just out of like a pentatonic scale, you know, and it's actually something that's really easy, but it's like kind of what I wanted to talk about today, is like staying in its own lane, you know what I mean? So it's like an idea that's out of the way of the other thing. First of all, like notes wise, this is all kind of lower register notes, and then these they're kind of I wouldn't call them upper register by any means, but they're definitely out of the way of those lower notes, right? That sounds cool too on its own, but like along with that other thing, I'm thinking probably get a little bit muddy. The other thing that I did with that is I kind of picked, that's exaggerated now, but I picked a little bit closer to this pickup so that it would get like a little bit of a thinner tone, get out of the way, because I was doing this with the other part. So it's like a little bit muddier, so the EQ is also just like a little bit different because of where I put my pick. So you can kind of play that way too, especially like on a loop or something. Like I'm doing here, the loop machine. It's like really fun to try and like figure out a way to make your part sit in the mix, and it's just in your amplifier, you know what I mean? So there's that part. What else did I do on that? That's the next part. So like, and I put on my my front pickup here so that it would again cut through a little bit, kind of like a tambourine. Again, that sits like really nice in that mix there because of that. So then let's talk like approach for soloing, because I actually just kind of vibed on that for a little bit before I added in anything else. I got kind of crazy with my effects by the end. Pre-FX time. What I try to do is I try to build. and you want to create a vibe. So like listening to it, yeah, just that in my head. And I already have some like lower stuff, so actually I think for the solo stuff I put on both pickups just so it would really kind of pop out. And then I stayed low and on the top 4 strings as much as possible. Stay in this area, you know what I mean? You don't want to like go up here because this is going to be like the climax area, you know? So you want to stay there like almost as long as you can, you know? Maybe went too low there, but that's okay. There's really no rule, like, but it just is about maybe like using your taste. And again, like there's a lot of bassier stuff going on there, so this is a low part of the guitar. I might just want to avoid that altogether. If I hear something in there, cool. But again, like these are just kind of like general rules. If you place a couple of general rules on your own stuff, like on your and restrict your playing, you'll find that you have to be like more creative with the notes that you have access to here. So I kind of like try to force myself into that. And then that almost forces like a motif. Like only a certain amount of things are available here, you know? You have like... There's a bit you can do that. Then maybe we drift up into this like pentatonic scale position. You see when I do that, now I'm just a little bit higher, there's momentum that's built. Maybe step a little bit above, but then go back. Find a way to like stay in each area as long as you can. If you want to be able to solo for a long amounts of time, you find a way to stay in each area like as long as you can until you've exhausted everything, you know? If you have 16 bars, maybe spend a measure here and then a measure here and then a measure here, and then you've built your way all the way up here. You know what I mean? But like if you have like unlimited solo time, you're on a 4-hour gig, you got to kill a little bit of time. You want to spend as much time on every solo as possible because then you can tell the greatest story. You know what I mean? Then when you've exhausted all that, move up into this next position here, you know? Back and forth. And then work it up. Moved it up again. Moved it up again. Now I'm up like maybe probably as high as I'm going to get on that. Because I can reach all the way up here. And this should be like your climax of your solo. Then maybe you work it back down to the very end. You know? So from there, again, like you want to create like another movement and you want to try and like build more. So for me, it was about like almost like I've played a lot of this instrument. I wanted to find a way to get another like almost instrument in there. So I started turning on some effects. So I'll tell you what I used. I have a pitch shifter on my Eventide H9. So I really love the sound of that. Just turn that on so you can hear what it sounds like. It's hooked up to this mini wah expression pedal here. It's actually like kind of backwards from how I think it should be. Like it's all the way back, it's high, and all the way forward, it's low. I'm not quite sure how to change that. If somebody at Eventide want to help me out, like hook a brother up. But to be quite honest, I'm like pretty happy with the way it is. Just the fact that I can control it with my foot at all is like totally good. So really just fun toy. But anyways, I added that in as a loop. And then for the rest of the solo there, I turned on my carbon copy delay here. It's just a really subtle one, you know, I don't need like any like crazy echoes or anything. I'll turn off the Eventide. There it is, a little cleaner. And then with the wah-wah. Now when I play wah-wah stuff, I try to make every note say wah, if that kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? You want to be like expressive with your foot the same way you're expressive with your like fingers on something like that. So that's all that is, and this is also a volume pedal when it's off, which is pretty sweet. I love that. So yeah, and that's actually most of my pedal board. The only other thing I have on here, I have this ABY box, so that I can go stereo in my 2 amps here, and I have a micro looper that I loop everything with. I have a tuner. And I have a rat pedal on here. I just love, I love like a dialed in rat tone is just really fun. That's just raw, like, you know. It's actually really cool mixed with some of the Eventide sounds on there too. It kind of like just like some of the synth sounds here. Let me see if I can show you one. Good. So that sound is just raw, but now with the rat. Like adds like a little bit of fatness and like resonance to it that's like really pleasant. Go ahead and play you out. That's all I got for today. Happy 335 Thursday. If you're interested in lessons, if you want to download my free packet, please just check the link in the description, and I'll see you out there.